Hi everyone. So I mentioned that we do web design, but one thing I did mention last week is that I'm currently doing a master's degree in digital marketing and I'm looking at personal branding. So I thought it would be a really good idea to tell you a little bit more about that and relate it to blogging, because personal branding is really about all your media, and blogging is a really good way, blogging on a website is a really good way to bring your personal brand to life. So what is personal branding? Well, Tom Peters in 1997 was the first person to actually use the phrase. What he said was, it's a really good way to package yourself in the same way that you would a product and market yourself almost as a product in your own right. And the benefits of that are it can bring you just greater success generally with your business. I'll go into the benefits a little bit further, but there's been quite a lot of research about that since that I've been looking into. And it's about presenting a public image that has positive benefits. So in other words, you're taking the best version of yourself and you're putting it out there. So why do it? Well, first of all, and again, you know, I've researched the literature on this. That's as far as I've got so far, and actually looking at what's out there already. It helps to get the right clients. That means if you want to attract higher paying clients, you could do that for your personal branding. It might be that you want to filter out the wrong clients, because that can happen as well. And by putting your values out, you can certainly do that. It helps you network effectively. You know, if you put your blog out on social, people get to know a little bit more about you. They click through to your website, they read more about you. It has been proven to help you attract investment if you're somebody that's looking to scale your business. It helps you grow your business. Now, growing your business is not the same as scaling your business, but it depends on what you want to do with your personal brand. If you're a sole trader or you know, you're a freelancer, then growing your business might be fine. So again, you know, you can pitch your personal brand accordingly. And it's a really good way to separate out your personal and professional persona. So there's quite a difference between what I put on Facebook and what I put in LinkedIn, for example. You know, it's much more personal stuff goes on to Facebook. But saying that, we're going to have a look at authenticity in a minute, and I do certainly put some personal stuff out in the professional domain. And it also helps you diversify and manage multiple brands. Now, this is really important, because if you take Richard Branson, who is an absolute master when it comes to personal branding, there's obviously quite a lot within his portfolio. By not focusing on trains or records, etc., and by focusing on himself as the personal brand, he's actually managed to diversify quite effectively. Stephen Bartlett's another one who actually has stepped back from being just a social media guru and now actually is investing in lots of other companies. And again, he says that focusing on his personal brand has enabled him to do that. So if you're an entrepreneur, personal branding should be really important for you. So being authentically you, that's quite authentic. Got no makeup on, don't wear a lot of makeup anyway. So right, how to do it. So the first thing is know your values, and that means your personal values. So what's important to you? Is it sustainability? Is it human centric? Is it, you know, is your value actually that, you know, you need to be very successful, very professional, and you know you're out to scale a business? That's fine, but know what your values are and make sure that they align with your company or the companies that you're working with. Because if you have a misalignment between your values and what you're doing, so for example, if you're putting sustainability out as a value, and you then go and start promoting, I don't know, some kind of diesel fuel or something like that, then you're going to lose credibility. So make sure they align. Promote those values in everything you do. That should be a running thread through every single bit of personal branding and company branding that you do. Show a little weakness. This is really important. I'm going to come to, I've mentioned authenticity, and the research shows that if you put out a perfect brand image, people tend not to trust it. That doesn't mean that you should be putting out negativity all the time, but people will relate to you if you are more authentic. And that means sometimes saying, and anybody who follows me on LinkedIn will know that I do this fairly regularly, I'll say, I'm having a really tough time at the moment. And those posts actually tend to get more traction. I get a lot of direct messages. You don't see them on the post, but when I tend to put something out very authentic, I get a lot of direct messages from people saying that really resonated with me. Thank you so much. Be consistent, and that is really important as well. Remember, whatever you put out leaves a trace. And we've seen that, and I put the hashtag there because we've seen that with famous people and politicians where they've put something out in the past on Twitter, it's been forgotten about, and then it's been dug up. So make sure that you're consistent with your posting. Don't suddenly do a U-turn on your values, and that's why it's important to get your values right in the first place. And finally, listen to feedback and communicate. Again, that's really important. If you're developing a personal brand, that you're aware of what people think about you and you're responding accordingly. You know, you may need to adapt slightly. And I'm not saying that I have perfect personal branding, by the way. I'm researching this, and it's something that I'm working on, and something that I'm going to be looking at seriously for myself in the next few months. So as I continue with the dissertation. So personal branding, it's more than just headshots. That is really important because a lot of people think of personal branding and they think of the influencer space. And actually, personal branding, everybody engages in it, whether you like it or not. We all do it. But to what extent really depends. And this is where blogging comes into its own, because personal branding is also about the language and the words that you put out there. So what should you do with blogging? Well, first of all, we've already said focus on your values. One of my strong values is actually about promoting well-being. I have mentioned before why I set Arctic Bee up. It was following a mental health crisis. You know, I've been through a really tough time and serious depression. And now, even though I'm running, you know, even though I'm working in tech, I'm working in marketing, actually promoting that message of well-being is so important. And I'll show you some of my blog posts in a minute, but you'll see that actually runs through as a thread in terms of what we put out there. Create content that resonates with your audience. Now, that might sound really easy to do, but a lot of people don't think about that. I've seen so many blogs where people effectively put out, this is what we do and this is why we're so great. Ask yourself seriously, does that resonate with your audience? Because actually, if you turn that round and you write a blog post that is about your audience or in somehow relates to them, it's going to go further. So, for example, instead of saying we are fantastic web designers, what we can do is start asking questions. You know, have you really been let down by your web designer? You know, perhaps you're at the end of your tether. Don't worry about it. We're here to talk to you. And here's an example of somebody that we've helped recently. Get in touch. You know, come and talk to us. And really put the emphasis on them, on the client, and what you can do for the client. It makes a huge difference. Create a niche. Again, that's quite important, is that there's obviously a very crowded marketplace in whatever field you're in, and you will have something unique that distinguishes you from everybody else, and that can also include your personal brand. What's unique about you? What makes you different? What makes you stand out? And I like to think, I definitely think I'm quite individual and quite quirky. So some of that comes across in my blogging, and I will show you that shortly. But create a niche and create something, you know, celebrate the uniqueness that's you. And that also goes for your business. So you can start putting the niche out that you offer in your business through your personal branding. Use your personality and your distinctive voice. Just mentioned that already. Some people are starting to use, I mean, we've all heard of ChatGPT. I'm sure there are people here that have used it. For blogging, if you're doing a quick value-added post or something like that, maybe it has its use. But the one thing that AI won't do is capture your voice. And that's why it's really important that if you struggle with blogging, just a little tip, maybe use a voice recorder on your phone, or send yourself a WhatsApp voice recording in your voice, saying what you want to say, play it back, type it out. It will get your voiceover in a very authentic way, in a way that AI or somebody else can't. Now, we do write blogs for clients. We write blogs for a lot of our clients, but what we do is we really get to know the client, and we run it by them before it goes out, and we ask them to help us actually edit it, so that we know that we're getting their unique voice out there. Be authentic, already mentioned that. And another great way to improve your reach is actually guest blogging. LinkedIn allow you to put blogs on as well. You can really position yourself as an authority in your field. It's a fantastic way to build up your personal brand. So guest blogging is great, and what I would do is I would have a look out there and see if there are blogs that feature other people within your industry, and just contact them and say, I'd love to do a blog for you. Are you interested? And also, just a little SEO tip, get a backlink back to your website, because that really helps as well. And blogging and podcasts also are a great way of getting yourself out there. So so you could do that, and you could integrate that into your blog on your website as well. So that's basically it for the presentation. What I'm going to show you now is just some of the posts, some of the blogs that I've actually done. I actually lost my timer. How am I doing, Vicky?
Literally got like seconds left.
Right, okay, so I'll be very quick. You'll see that some of my posts are a little bit quirky. If you have a look at my website, I've got this one, penguins can't fly and they don't live in Whitby, based on me going out and thinking there were penguins in Whitby. Like, seriously, I'm a bit dumb sometimes. And then I've got some that really look at things like mental health. So if you have a look, there's one here, Being Authentically Me, which is based on a tough experience that I had last week. And there's also quite a lot about my personal journey. And what I tend to do is I bring all that personal stuff back to business. So if you have a look at this one here, actually suffered a little bit of a heartbreak. And what I've done is I've related it to business all the way through in terms of what I've pulled out of that experience. So there is a good way to get yourself out there, be authentic, be you, and actually integrate that into business in some way. So that's it for me. Hopefully that was useful. And just one final note, I know some of you said that you'd be interested in being interviewed for my dissertation. Thank you very much. I'm not going to be ready to do the interviews until the end of July, August time. So I will definitely get in touch with you. So thank you very much. And that's it. Any questions?